Hey everyone, I'm Miles, and welcome to my new video on this channel, more specifically my new series, which is going to be my game creating series, or my world building series, I guess you could call it. And this video is basically going to be about me kind of just telling you guys what exactly I'm planning to do with this new series, why I'm planning to do this new series, and yeah, so let's get into the video. Alright, so this series is essentially going to be just building this world called Project Archetype, which is this project that I've wanted to kind of fully create since probably the beginning of last year, and actually no, probably 2 years ago I started developing on it. Now that I have all of these new skills with Photoshop and ZBrush, I plan to kind of take that original plan a lot more seriously on this YouTube channel. Now, you might be asking, well, Miles, why are you, not doing this just in your own private time? Why are you making this public? And, well, the reason for that is because I'm trying to create an art portfolio that can be seen by, companies or people in the future that might have their own company that are just looking for, good, talented art that can maybe sponsor me. I'm basically just trying to get my work out there, on the map and on the internet. And the reason for this is because my main dream goal is to become a concept artist, which if you don't know what that is, it's someone who basically works for a company, say like a video game company like Blizzard, and basically what they'll do is they'll be handed kind of like a description of what this character, what their abilities are, and maybe their race is or their ethnicity is, and basically that concept artist's job is to design that character, draw them, whether it's in Photoshop or Illustrator or ZBrush or anything, and yeah, so that's the main whole reason behind this. I also have an ArtStation account and an Instagram where I'm going to be continuously posting most of my art, or a lot of my art on there as well. So yeah, if you guys want to go ahead and follow me, I'll have all the links and everything to that in the description below. Also, another big reason why I'm doing this is because I want to create a video game. I'm not saying, I'm not going to single-handedly create a video game on my own, but just kind of having all of the base concept art there it's a start, and maybe I can get people, like friends, or meet people online who know how to create certain things in code, and other 3D artists and stuff that can help kind of further develop the world of Archetype, and whilst I already have kind of the base concept of the world. And thirdly, also because, it's just plain fun, it's cool. It's also good practice drawing like this a lot, so yeah, that's another thing. I've always been kind of inspired by really cool universes like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, or video games like World of Warcraft and StarCraft and stuff like that. I really like kind of big, fully fledged out universes, so, MMOs and things like that are really appealing to me. And yeah, those are the three main reasons as to why I'm doing this. And yeah, so let's go ahead and talk more about Project Archetype. Okay, so first of all, we're going to talk about the setting of Archetype. Archetype takes place in the future. I know it kind of looks very fantasy inspired right here, but that is because it's kind of like a mix of futuristic sci-fi and fantasy. It's kind of like a mix of that, mostly with the races. There's going to be different races in the game, different kind of creatures, but at the same time there will be things like mechs, robots, and just kind of that futuristic. It'll have that futuristic, almost like dystopian kind of element to it. As for game-wise, I can kind of see it being, like I said, I'm interested in MMOs a lot, so probably like an MMO. I was thinking on maybe making like a first-person MMO. I thought that would be really cool, because I don't think there's ever been a first-person MMO. I could be wrong. If there is one, correct me on that. I just didn't really do my research on that, but yeah. By the way, quick little notion here, these little thumbnails, these concepts that you see here, these are early stage concepts of characters and various races throughout the universe of Archetype that I was, kind of just getting started to plan out of how I wanted them to look. So none of these are final. I might, still use some of these concepts, but yeah, so we can just see where that goes. But yeah, so first person MMO RPG is kind of what I'm leaning towards here with this project, and most of it I can really see being done in Unity. But moving more away from the kind of game-wise factors of it and kind of going towards, the actual world itself, like I said, I want this to be in a futuristic setting, and I'm not entirely sure what year I want it to take place yet, but yeah, so just really kind of have futuristic in your head. Now, when I do say futuristic, I don't want you guys to think like Star Trek or Star Wars or anything like that along those lines, mainly because, that's not really, what I planned for this universe to be like. I kind of want it to be more of a blend of just fantasy and futuristic. So, kind of like a more modernized fantasy world, I guess you could say, but with some minor sci-fi elements in there. But of course, nothing too big like spaceships, flying shuttles, or anything like that. Alright, now moving on to the races of the World of Archetype, I'm planning to have probably about 5 different, leading species. Now, when I say leading species, I mean, like, how humans are at the top of the food chain? It's kind of like that, basically. So, there's going to be more variations of humans, I guess you could say. Now, when I do say different variations of humans, they're not going to be humans, they're going to be completely different species altogether. They're going to look different, have different environments, and their own traits that make them unique. The only kind of human factor to them will be their intelligence. They will all be either as or more or almost as intelligent as we humans are, and also their physique will be, of course, heavily inspired by humans, so that basically means, 2 arms, 2 hands, 2 legs, 2 feet, 1 head, that type of deal. Now, I've also been thinking about, since there's going to be these various leading races in this world, I was also thinking, I do not want them to be divided. Like, when I say divided, I mean, like, I don't want to separate them into, certain factions where they're kind of all going up against each other. I wanted them to all kind of coexist in the same environment and work together. Now, I've been kind of thinking about, how I want to introduce all these different races and environments and creatures as well. I was kind of thinking of kind of just making this a weekly thing. So maybe I have 1 or 2 videos every week, with each video basically explaining a certain kind of section or, part of the world. Now, as for the potential story of the world, I was kind of thinking everything is sort of managed by these large things called titans. Now, titans are kind of what keep the world sort of in place. They keep everything sort of together, and there's usually 2 titans, or I'm gonna say 2 titans, per each different kind of section of the entire planet. I guess you could say the titans are sort of guardians, I guess. Now, as for how they look, I've been thinking about, more something towards like a mech. Maybe they were built by one of like humans or one of the extremely intelligent species, or they could be just kind of a natural organic species that has sort of always been there. Now, I'm not entirely sure which one I'm going to end up going with in the end, but I think I'm leaning towards them being built and kind of being more like a robotic type of deal. Or I could do something even cooler and maybe kind of blend the two, so they could have been built but a really, really long time ago, and they can also have actual organs and their own mindset. Yeah, so now that I think about it, that's probably what I'm going to end up going with. I kind of like the way that sounds the most out of the two. Now, one of the bigger questions I've been kind of asking myself is, what are these titans exactly protecting these continents from? So like, what is the main big threat of the world? Now, at first, I was kind of leaning more towards like some kind of robot invasion, so something similar to like Terminator. or maybe something like an alien invasion instead of robots. Either way, I want it to be some kind of mass invasion or mass corruption of the entire planet, just about. That way, if this is going to be an MMO, it kind of leads all players to, sort of the same kind of, outcome. I've also been thinking about servers and how I'm going to actually get that for an MMORPG. So, maybe the first actual installment of this project might just be a single player game where players will basically pick a certain archetype or character. It is kind of similar to an MMORPG. You can still create your own character, maybe, whether it's you can choose from one of the 5 races that I'm going to be creating, and then basically just kind of following the storyline from there. So this means single player mode, think something like Legend of Zelda, and then as for the MMORPG version, think something like World of Warcraft, but in first person view. Alright guys, so that's basically everything that I have laid out for you guys today. If you guys do enjoy this type of content, make sure you guys leave a like, maybe leave a comment, critique on it, what you guys like, what you guys don't like, talk about, maybe what you guys would want to see in the future, what I can take away, what I can add, hit that subscribe button, and yeah, that's basically it guys, so I'll hopefully see you guys in the next one. Bye!